give me a hand in welcoming our first player in this men's singles semifinals.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2016 ITTF World Tour Swedish Open, a major series on the World Tour. I'm your commentator, Adam Bobrow, coming to you live from Stockholm, Sweden, and we are getting into the men's singles semifinals. It is the top seed, Dimitrij Ovtcharov, the king of Europe over the last several years. Dimitrij Ovtcharov, as many people's pick to win this tournament left at this point, but it's been a shaky road to get here with some scares against Iran's Noshat Alamian and some difficult matches along the way. But Noshat Alamian, the closest match so far, 7-gamer. And the opponent for Dimitrij Ovtcharov, the only player with more support from the crowd, Mattias Karlsson, the pride of Sweden, the last standing hope of Sweden, and has been for several rounds. The guy just dropped a hamburger bun in celebration. He was so excited to see Mattias Karlsson. The whole top half of the hamburger is left on the court. And our officials for this match, from Jordan, our umpire, Al-Aldin Kanani, and our assistant umpire, Julio Nepomuceno. So Mattias Karlsson with the men's national team coach, Marcus Holberg. He's done an excellent job so far. Jörg Roskopf, legend of German table tennis, in the corner. The men's national team coach will be aiding Dimitrij Ovtcharov. So Dimitrij Ovtcharov, as you can see on screen, world rank number 6, has been as high as number 4 in the world in recent history, first seed in the tournament, and 28 years old. But Mattias Karlsson, currently world rank number 46, only 25 years old, 3 years younger than Dimitrij Ovtcharov, is the 16th seed in the tournament. So several upsets have to have been pulled for him to make it this far into the tournament, into the final 4. Mattias Karlsson uses short pips on the forehand side of his racket. From a young age, his coach saw that he had a shorter stroke, liked to hit the ball flat a little bit more, and felt like it would be a more appropriate rubber. And if you talk to a lot of the players, whether it's a chopper, someone who plays with unusual style, close to the table, long pips, whatever it may be, it's often guided by a coach, someone who works with the youth at the clubs and gets them started, sends them on the direction for what will seal their fate for how they will play for the rest of their career. Occasionally there is equipment change. Yuto Muramatsu spent a little bit of time trying out long pips on the backhand side of his racket after Masato Shiono had some great success using the traditional style chops with the long pips. Coin toss here to determine where players stand. Mattias Karlsson wins the toss. And checking each other's rackets. Now, an interesting thing about the forehand of Dimitrij Ovtcharov, again, I told you he's the king of Europe. Now, in Europe, very few players, unless they were born and raised in China and then moved and naturalized, use Chinese rubber on the forehand. Dimitrij Ovtcharov, oh, yet at the same time, I will say, many of the top players will often, for lack of better words, complain about how their opponents, their toughest opponents from China, have an advantage based on the Chinese rubber, to which someone might say, well, why don't you just switch? Why don't you use Chinese rubber? It's for sale. And the answer is that most of these players from Europe are trained with a different stroke that fits the European rubber. The Chinese rubber, a bit heavier, a bit harder, and a bit tackier, needs to be contacting the ball with a more open face as opposed to the closed racket that we see in Europeans. So Dimitrij Ovtcharov, for the last 2 to 3 months, has been using a Chinese rubber in combination, working with Donick to try and pull off a collaboration for the Chinese rubber that he's playing with on his forehand. So he's gonna make some shots that dip and kick a little bit more, come back over the net, lower, and really just jump out. But he's gonna be a little bit less consistent with his shots, because despite 2 to 3 months practice, it's still a life of playing with European rubber that has developed the strokes that he has in his arsenal right now. So we'll see. Also, Dimitrij Ovtcharov recently has become a father, as a young daughter, Emma, with his wife and Swedish former table tennis player, Jenny Ovtcharov. Had a chance to have a few meals with the couple and catch up a bit. Dima has had, I'd say, a bit of a shaky year, despite taking some big tournaments in 2015. All the major ones a European could take. And Christian Karlsson watching there in the crowd. Mattias Karlsson's family. And also, of course, the Swedish fans supporting him. But both players have love. It's just a question of how much support from how many people here live in the stadium. This is a best of 7. Dima to start with the serve. Look at this touch with the short pips on the forehand side. It was about a year ago, I believe at the Austria Open, that I really got a chance to see how much Mattias Karlsson had developed his short game. And with short pips to have such touch over the table, especially for a tall player, is quite impressive.
1-0.
Now yesterday, in the most exhausting match I had to commentate, or got to commentate rather, Jonathan Groth of Denmark versus Mattias Karlsson. The first 3 games was the best I've ever seen Mattias Karlsson play. Wow, these shots. A powerful flat hit deep to the backhand corner. Dima countering it from off balance. Let's see this one more time. At full extension, to make a backhand like that is a very, very difficult ask. So much power on the first 2 backhands. First one spinny, the next one full out drive forward. And it's the forehand to finish. Some big swings on the backhand of Mattias Karlsson. Both players are quite tall. Mattias Karlsson's got to be about 6'4", Dima close to the 6'2". They both demonstrated that they're not afraid to use their backhand from wide, really take a wristy shot, wristy and risky.
2-4.
The variation in Dima's serves, he has some of the most signature serves in the game currently. From the tomahawk serve that's often heavy underspin and sometimes light underspin or no spin, but very rarely any topspin, to the backhand where he crouches low. 2 big backhands. Mattias Karlsson has been playing so well this tournament. While Dima is the favorite, it's actually their first time playing head-to-head. It's really tough to call who's going to win this match. Only time will tell. Change of pace out here, a little bit flatter shot. We saw yesterday Mattias Karlsson using his backhand to smother the ball and block with wide angles. Short stroke right there, but still perfectly timed to use his opponent's topspin. Beautiful change of placement from Dima. Very versatile backhand serve, can go anywhere on the table, short or long, near, far, wherever you are. And this is a break for Mattias Karlsson. Not an easy ball for Dima, but he does get an attackable 3rd ball. Yesterday, some very impressive highlight points against Liam Pitchford of England. Highlights, highlights, highlights. Counterattacks from all over both sides of the racket. No matter what age you are thrilled right now. Not sure who she was shushing after that. Maybe someone rooting for a person she's not. But the fight of Mattias Karlsson is strong here, and the support is definitely plentiful. Broken ball. Would not be surprised if this happens again in the match. Between Mattias Karlsson's flat hits. See if Dima puts the ball in his mouth. He's already used the sweat on his shirt. Many players back in the day used to put the ball in their mouth to take that dusty chalk off the outer layer so that the ball plays like a worn-in ball. When the chalk is still on, the ball tends to be a little grittier, grip the table more, and kick, so it can be unfamiliar for the players. This is pretty unpredictable. We saw this yesterday from Mattias Karlsson. A ball sits up a little bit. It looks like he might be looking for the opportunity to attack. But because that's anticipated by Dima, he starts to back off the table a little bit, stand up a little right, getting ready for an attack. And Karlsson leaves it short on the table, which later earns him an attackable ball. There are a lot of things to wonder right now. How comfortable Dima is with that Chinese rubber on the forehand. If those two are related, seems likely. Right down the line, beautiful backhand with power. Dima's game used to be quite backhand-centric. Many of you table tennis fans might recall when Dimitrij Ovtcharov beat Zhang Jiko, the first loss that Zhang Jiko had at the World Championships in 2014 Tokyo. There's the backhand. That loss was during the teams event in 2014. It was a year of teams play. And Dima's backhand was just dominant. From off the table, from near the table, if he's given just a moment, he can generate so much power with that wrist. It's something between a loop and a punch. Big point, and Dima getting vocal, ties it back up at 8 points each. That's a break for Karlsson. Dima hand to head immediately. Gets a high ball for the backhand, tries to play it right on the line. Small margin for error, of course. And two backhands in a row for Dima that normally I would say he can expect to make. Again, he hasn't changed the backhand rubber of the game, although the weight of the racket is different. If he's got a Chinese rubber on the forehand side, it does change the balance of everything. Table tennis players know this. A gram or two here and there can make all the difference between an edge ball and a typical counter loop. 2 game points for Mattias Karlsson to take the first. Flat hit goes just out. We've seen a lot of reverse pendulum serves. For those of you a little newer to table tennis, the inverted rubber is the red rubber for Mattias Karlsson. He's going to use it on the serve and quickly turn the racket back around, or twiddle it, as we say. He does that so he can control the serve and try to set up an attack where he normally plays the short pips on the forehand, but 2 points have been saved, 2 game points, and now Dima has a serve to earn game point. This is the 3rd time, maybe even more, I'd say 4th time that Dima's earned a 3rd ball attack and just missed the edge of the table. A big point. Karlsson back in game point position, his 3rd game point this game. When have we seen that serve? I don't know, but it worked. 3rd ball and a backhand rip. Mattias Karlsson, 12-10 over the top seed, Dimitrij Ovtcharov. And we'll see what happens. It's a best of 7, a long, hard road ahead. Game 2 coming up right after this.
Och intressant att nämna i sammanhanget är att Mattias, som idag är rankad 46 i världen, för exakt 2 år sedan saknade världsranking. Månaden därefter, i december 2014, huserade han på 175:e plats. Det innebär att han har avancerat nästan 130 platser på mindre än 2 år. Det är ni.
end game. Karlsson to serve.
Back for game number 2. Mattias Karlsson leading 1-0 by a narrow margin, 12-10 in game 1 over the top seed Dimitrij Ovtcharov. Reverse pendulum serve and the follow-up backhand attack. Not sure if it was an unusual contact. A little apology there for some fortune. Change of pace from Dima. Softer, spinnier ball with the backhand to break the rhythm of Karlsson. Georg Groskopf again in the corner for Dima.
2-1.
It's really interesting looking back at the match yesterday for Karlsson versus Groth. After winning 11-2, 11-5, and 11-5, was up 5-2 in game 3. Jonathan Groth appeared to have given up, hits a behind-the-back shot that essentially not only wins him the point, but wins him the next 3 games. That's how powerful that shot was psychologically. Sort of crushed the spirit of Karlsson, made him realize that anything's possible. It's like he was taken out of this flawless dreamland to play the best he's ever played.
1-4.
Either way, we know that Mattias Karlsson is capable of making a very high percentage of some very low percentage shots. A little bit off the top of the net, but those are 2 of those shots that are high pressure that he completely executes. This is the point of apologizing, not just holding your hand so that people can see you, holding your hand so that your opponent knows you're acknowledging it. Some really outstanding sportsmanship yesterday, actually by Jonathan Groth at 2-2 in game 7. Karlsson acknowledged the ball broke on contact where he would have otherwise lost the point. I think the call was proper, but it would have been easy for someone to say, nah, sorry, you lost the point. Oh, after all that work for Karlsson, Dima hangs in there for some big shots and counterattacks. Slap shot with the short pips on the forehand. A lot of flat hit counters you're going to see throughout from Karlsson. And still versatility, softer and spinnier. But you don't generate as much spin with the short pips. You still can generate spin. Certain short pips more than others. I know Mima Ito with the Moristo is very effective, creating top spin and fast shots as well. Well played, deep out to the backhand side. Karlsson started off the game a little bit slow, but is right back in it. Beautiful placement down the line. Karlsson looks like he's going cross court to continue the trend in the rally, but quickly breaks the wrist and goes the other way. Today's word is agility.
6-5.
So tied up at 6 points each. Second towel break of the game. The cameras are out in the crowd and the slow clap starts in support of Mattias Karlsson. Open forehand side of the table with a lot of pressure coming in. Karlsson tries to stay on top of the ball. Again, the heavy topspin, a little bit slower. Karlsson's gonna have to change his timing, make sure he gets in to stay on top. He definitely has the reach to do it, but the body positioning has to be right as well, or he's gonna be off balance for the next ball. That's unfortunate for Karlsson. Ball sitting up a little bit high, has the time. Now, as far as risk versus reward, the short pips, it's going to be tougher for Dima to get it back, but it's going to be tougher for Karlsson to put it on the table consistently. Just missing the edge of the table. Surprise placement to the short side. This is Karlsson using the short pips with topspin there, a little bit more security on the shot.
Net. 7, 9.
Dima has been known to detect cracks a little bit faster than others. Wow, rocket backhand as fast as it comes back from Mattias Karlsson's forehand, even faster when it's sent right back to him. This one more time. That's the backhand that Zhang Jiko had trouble with in 2014. These combinations so quick, a long, fast serve. When you serve fast and long, you know that the ball is going to come back faster than usual. You have to be ready for it, and the plan for Karlsson is just a shotgun backhand. Saves a game point. Gets a relatively soft receive from Dima. And you anticipate your opponent's going to come in for the Chiquita, the banana flip, to use the backhand on the forehand side of the table. A fast, long serve to the backhand can really freeze them up or take away their power. 2 game points left for Dima. And fools Karlsson, who slips with his left foot. The down-the-line serve, high risk, pays off, and it's 1 game each. Again, this is a best of 7. It could go the distance. Both players are fighting hard for a chance to win the title and move on to the final anyway. Game 3 coming up right after this. We'll see who takes the lead. Stay right here.
Namnet är något som han har ärvt från sin far, som var sovjetisk mästare i bordtennis 1982. Ovtcharov född 1988 i det som idag kallas Ukraina. Flyttade mycket tidigt till Tyskland där han har fått sin fostran såväl som person som pingisspelare. Han har även viss svensk anknytning i och med att han är gift med en svenska som har spelat bordtennis här i Stockholm.
Fans clap as we come back for game number 3. Dimitrij Ovtcharov has just tied it up against Mattias Karlsson. Karlsson, the number 16 seed, playing against the number 1 seed in the tournament right now. Serve goes a bit long. Opening attack goes to Karlsson for the point. Marcus Woodbury in the corner for Mattias Karlsson. Again, the serve goes long. Dima with not a bad counterattack for his 3rd ball. But a big backhand bending away. This is a high-pressure shot from Karlsson. Watch this one more time. Side and top on it. No chance for Dima to run that one down. Now the flip was there, the placement was fine, but not enough pressure on Karlsson. He plays it with the short pips behind Dima. And again, blocking a shot from short pips is very difficult because you don't have the rotation to make the ball come up off the rubber. Short side of the table, really zeroed in on that and focused. Karlsson comes down and through for the flat hit with power. Heavy push deep to the forehand side. Dima trying to stay loose here. You can see him shaking out the legs. Needs to make sure he's moving quickly to set up for every shot. First point, he's on the board. A little bit of vocalization to give him some hope. Karlsson continuing his lead, keeping the pressure on. This was the pattern yesterday for the first 3 games. High pressure throughout. Occasionally you're going to miss a shot, but go big. And playing a risky game, I think, is quite advisable whenever you are the underdog in a match. But what does that really say about the expected winner, the favorite? They still have to keep some pressure on. I guess it's all just a fine balance. Karlsson just a little bit late to get there. Looked like he slipped on the flooring, trying to move. Again, that topspin forehand is going to be very difficult to read. Varying amounts of spin. Such a unique style of play, short pips on the forehand. Not many players in the world at this level Dima can practice with using that type of equipment in this style of game.
4-8.
Wang Zhengyi of Poland, the pen holder phenomenon, uses short pips on the forehand. It's a little bit different than a shake hands forehand. As a matter of fact, Wang Zhengyi, as he was losing a match, switched to shake hands and started chopping. I think it was on table number 2 days ago. Big point for Karlsson to hang on to a lead of 4 points. Nothing would please this crowd more than to see Mattias Karlsson move on to play the final and fight for the Swedish Open title.
Let 9-5.
And considering the lineup here, the Mattias Karlsson is the 16th seed. That would be a huge accomplishment. What a save from down low near the ground. Fishes it up back on the table. Counters with the backhand. A lob as deep as they come on the table. Karlsson does everything right here. That after motion trying to fool Dima. And as soon as he gets the opportunity, fearlessly goes for that backhand. The quality here. Unbelievable shots. Too hot right now to be stopped. If you can't take the heat, get out the kitchen. Mattias Karlsson takes the game over Dima for a 2-1 lead, and we'll be back for game 4 right after this.
Nämnas kan för er som inte är alltför insatta i det här med material att Mattias spelar med så kallat kortnabb på forehandsidan. Därav den oerhörda kraften i hans smashar. Kortnabb innebär att man kan inte spela med riktigt lika mycket skruv som om man har ett vanligt gummi där nabbarna är vända inåt. Men man kan få ut desto mer kraft. Den här spelstilen var mycket vanlig på 70- och 80-talet. Och då nästan uteslutande i Asien bland koreaner, japaner och kineser. Lustigt nog har det visat sig att Mattias spelstil är ytterst lämpad just mot dagens moderna koreaner och kineser. På sin meritlista, eller ska vi säga skalplista, har han bland annat besegrat nummer 15 i världen från Korea, Lee Sang-soo, nummer 12 i världen, Jung Jung-sik och nummer 11, Yanan från Kina.
säger Bilbälte, jag säger Ovtcharov. Jag är stabil.
Karlsson to serve. Level.
Back for game number 4, Mattias Karlsson of Sweden with the serve, leading 2-1 over top-seeded Dimitrij Ovtcharov of Germany.
One. Love.
Change of pace, a little bit softer on the forehand shot. And it breaks the rhythm, sneaks past Ovtcharov. For Karlsson to read that topspin just right, Dima gets a lot of spin on that backhand. Strong receive from Karlsson. He really manages to get in, take it early off the bounce with the short pips. But the follow-up attack just a little wide. Oh, off the edge of the racket for Dima, but perfect placement nonetheless. The apology. Let's look at this one more time. It looked like that's where he was aiming, but you could hear the contact. Karlsson's using his backhand however he can, from soft and spinny to set up the forehand, to rips from off the table, to power, to blocks. A more traditional game, a lot of options with inverted rubber. Whereas there's a natural temptation to hit it fast and flat from the short pip side, especially if you're a little bit out of position. Mattias Karlsson on the step around, if he plays it soft and spinny, he's going to leave open the wide forehand court, so he knows he needs to put the pressure on Dima. Almost brings it back cross court. Big loop from Dima though, near the table. This time gets the first one back, but Dima enters the rally with a few counter loops. Again, the real difficulty for Dima is going to be the timing. Partially the timing, and partially that he has to open the face of the racket to counter a flat hit with less spin. This isn't the first time we've seen Mattias Karlsson paying attention to the flooring, having some issues. Speaking of shoes, could be a shoe issue. Tough to know. Although I guess Mattias Karlsson's playing all the time in these shoes. The only variable could be the flooring. So this news just in, Dima was using Chinese rubber on the forehand throughout this tournament and has switched back to his usual. So I guess he's Tenergy on both sides right now. Which can also, I mean, it's more familiar in the long run for him, but in recent games, in recent matches, this is a change for him because he's been practicing for the last few months with a Chinese rubber on the forehand.
7-4.
Maybe that's why he was here early, practicing quite hard in the practice hall to get used to, again, what he's played with for many years. Just missing wide. Ovtcharov starting to run away with this game. Big shout out to Dan Ives of Table Tennis Daily. Thanks for zooming in on the rubber for me. And the service error. I think I almost just said yes in North Sweden. That's how you say yes in northern Sweden. Several steady backhands in a row. the spinny side of the racket. Karlsson definitely fired up. Mattias Karlsson is a fine balance, I would say, of pumping himself up but still staying cool and focused. Good demeanor on the table. A few of these shots are so close to the biggest counters. Ovtcharov with a strong opening attack, and the flat hit comes back just too long and wide. And now 5 game points for Dima to take a game and make it a 2-all situation. It's the backhand looping rallies where Karlsson has been winning. Again, that high arcing spinny shot. Not especially high, but just not the fast, flat kill shot that Dima often hits back. 1 game point saved, 4 to go. Beautiful underspin, short to the forehand on that reverse pendulum serve. You know, and I realized I said before Dima finds the crack in the ball faster than many. I think it's more that he checks more often as well. One of the key ingredients.
Let 7, 10.
More attempts, more successes. A little bit lighter rotation this time on the underspin serve. Dima lifts it back with a strong receive and takes the game 11 points to 7. It's tied up at 2 games each. We'll be back game 5 to see who takes the lead right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Nämnas kan om Dimitrij Ovtcharov att han till vardags tränar i Düsseldorf. Precis som Sveriges egna Christian Karlsson och Anton Kjellberg. Till skillnad från dessa så seriespelar han däremot för ryska Orenburg. Och där har han lagkamrater som heter duga. Vad sägs om Jon Mitsutani från Japan, bronsmedaljör OS 2016. Samt 5:a i världen, eller Vladimir Samsonov, den evigt unge vitryssen som tog sig hela vägen till semifinal i OS i somras och i kvartsfinalen besegrade ingen annan än just det, Dimitrij Ovtcharov.
Back for game number 5. Swedish fans watching nervously as Dimitrij Ovtcharov makes his comeback to tie it up. Ovtcharov is dangerous, as we know. Power on both sides. Has dominated the game in European table tennis for the last few years. Well, I say dominated, I guess I should say has been the most successful, but still has suffered losses to some of the strong European players. Jakub Diaz recently, the European Championships. The most recent, I recall, upset over Dima. Beautiful backhand right off the bounce. Now, taller players, again, I was asked this question last night. Is there an advantage to being tall in table tennis? And the answer is yes. But there are also disadvantages, so it doesn't really pay off to be taller in table tennis. If it did, the average height of table tennis players would be quite tall. You'd recognize them walking down the street. Tall people of all ethnicities would be asked, hey, do you play table tennis? Maybe undeservingly. But these are 2 of the tallest players in the game. Mattias Karlsson, anyway. Stefan Mengel standing about 6'7". I guess somewhere around 197 centimeters. Quick calculation, could be wrong, but yeah, tallest player I know of at the professional level in the top 100 in the world. Heavy push left a little more shallow on the table. Again, lifting something from out in front is very difficult. Don't injure yourself, but try it at home and you can feel the difference. It's why it's important to get in, to move not just side to side, but in and out to set up every shot. Change of placement. Dima turning the corner and playing it down the line. Big shot. Persistent wall-like play. Mattias Karlsson hangs in there for two big shots at the opening. Getting ready to turn and get that forehand into place, setting up a pattern. The flat hit kill shot comes next if there's time. One advantage to being tall is the wingspan, the reach to cover the table. Too strong, painting the corners. Deep to the backhand, wide out to the forehand. Quick turn from Dima. Now speed is all relative. Last year, might have been in Austria, Dima versus Jun Mizutani. As far as speed goes, as fast as Dima is compared to Jun Mizutani in that match, there was no question who was faster. But then Jun Mizutani versus some of the top Chinese players in the world, you could argue that the speed is one of the key differences, whether it's leg muscles, core strength, physical conditioning, all of the above. It adds to a quicker stroke, more twist and torque on your turn. Beautiful forehand flat hit out to the forehand side. Karlsson with a big point to keep the score even. No tilting of the seesaw here. While falling back, it's a fadeaway counter smash. Ripping backhand, tucks back into the body. Gets the full wrist action at the end of the whip that is his right arm.
Timeout.
And a timeout called. It's going to be by Jörg Roskopf on the German side. You would think, although Dima's the first, or not Dima's, Mattias Karlsson's the first to get back. Sure enough, it is. A little bit surprising in the body language. Dima walks over. There's going to be some conversation, of course, about how to handle. It looks like Jörg Roskopf is maybe suggesting some deep pushes early in the rally to try to set up a more predictable attack. Marcus Woodbury. And some talk about the change of placement, the short stroke forehand from the middle. So back from the timeout, we'll see who's affected more by this short break and these conversations with the coaches. Tiring enough that fans need to hydrate.
Six, 5.
One-point lead for Mattias Karlsson. Fast long serve sets up a decent opportunity. Karlsson's gonna shake it off, head over to the towel, keep himself cool and move forward.
Seven, 6.
Heavy topspin, played a little bit more on the elbow, and Dima's got trouble. The ball stays low. This game could be the turning point and the determining game of who wins this match. Whoever wins this game will definitely have more confidence, but the pressure will be on that player still to keep their performance up. Beautiful again, once right off the bounce. Not an easy ball for Dima to counter and keep it on the table. Still a quality shot, but he's gonna have to get back. Karlsson putting too much pressure on with this backhand. It's down the line It's not like Dima gave up. There's just nothing he can do if he's going to step around for that forehand. He's got a strong enough backhand. He might have to use it more.
Let 8, 7.
Both players waiting patiently for the umpire to call the let. Beautiful shot, so much power to the parallel, short side of the table. Karlsson with a 2-point lead at a crucial moment. I believe it was Game 7 yesterday against Growth where he had 9-7 in Game 7 before losing 2 points. Wow. Touch shot, confidence from Dima. Right into the body, big counter, fast pace, and Karlsson earns himself a game point. He's got 2 now with the 3rd towel break. Again, high pressure play. Look at this shot. One gets a backhand out of Dima from on the forehand side and then gets a forehand from a little bit on the backhand side of the body. Taking advantage of just being slightly out of position. Powerful shots to one side of the middle. Talk about getting specific. 2 game points, Karlsson. Only needs one, 11-8, a 3-2 lead. And Mattias Karlsson has hands in the air from fans in the crowd. He's 1 game away from pulling off arguably the biggest match, the biggest upset, and the biggest victory of his life. But it's not over yet. Stick around, Game 6 coming up right after this. We'll see if Dima fights back or if Karlsson puts this one in the history books. Game 6 after this.
En svensk på hemmaplan som har chans att göra det till synes omöjliga och pressa ut Europaettan. Mattias har gett allt han har till er och lite till. Det enda som man kan vänta sig av publiken är att ni ger lika mycket till honom. Allt att vinna, inget att förlora. Plattan i mattan, titta inte i backspegeln. Nu kör vi, kom igen!
Karlsson to serve. Level.
Back for game number 6, Mattias Karlsson of Sweden, the hope of Sweden, leading 3-2. And it's play like this that has kept him on top. Dangerous backhands down the line, cross court, change of pace, bending away, whatever it is, he's got it. It's a possibility that you have to worry about from the other side of the table. Just missing on many occasions now. That hard shot from the middle of the table, or in this case, the step around from the backhand side to the wide forehand of Karlsson has come back just too long. A little bit off the top of the net, but a big backhand down the line again from Dima to take the lead. Just to let you know, Dimitrij Ovtcharov beat Viktor Brod of Sweden 4-2 in the opening round. Noshad Alamian 11-7 in Game 7. The Iranian player having an outstanding tournament. After that, Joao Montero 4-2 for Dimitrij Ovtcharov. Liam Pitchford yesterday 4-1. But Mattias Karlsson, who ties it back up at that point, beat Ricardo Walter in the opening round from Germany, who had a very strong week last week, 4-1. Florent Lambiet of Belgium after that. The kicking serve to catch Dimitrij Ovtcharov off guard puts Karlsson in the lead here. Look at this one more time. deep on the table, side and top, the ball jumping out after beating Lambiet. Koki Niwa was an upset, a big upset for Mattias Karlsson, 4-1 victory. And the inspector finds the crack, gets confirmation from Karlsson. Switch balls here. Rather than putting it in his mouth, he's using the sweat from his shirt to get the outer layer of chalk off the ball. And after beating Koki Niwa yesterday, Mattias Karlsson beat Jonathan Groth in a match that was so exhausting. He was still trying to get his heart rate back. I saw him blowing air out, steam off after the match before his interview. Probably a good minute or two after the match. Two off the top of the net in the same rally, but still impressive backhand shots. It's still a ways to go in the game. Karlsson's gonna have to keep this performance up. Saw him last night after the victory at the end of the night in the hotel, and he was limping. Asked him if he was okay. He said, yeah, a little stiff. So what are you gonna do? He said, wake up, tomorrow's a new day. And at 25 years old, he seems to be quite healed out here right now. A 4-point lead now. Times like this, you start to feel like a timeout could be good, if you have one. And the streak continues. The spinny backhand from down low. It is not easy to get that low when you're that high. Tall players with a higher center of gravity, and Karlsson really getting the legs into it and spinning a wristy shot from table height. Still gets a few of those back. You can see he's focused to win every point out here. Ovtcharov with a few big shots, manages to get through and take this point. Beautiful recovery from Karlsson. Has to get the racket head way up to bring the ball back into play. Look at this one more time. Spinny shot off the short pitch from down low. That ball was the most impressive to me. Counterattack where he takes authority, but really has to keep the racket head high to get that block back. Too much power. That's Dima at 100% right there. Earns the third ball attack. It's not coming back. By the way, if you caught, I guess, selected parts of commentary, Dimitrij Ovtcharov was using Chinese rubber in this tournament. I had lunch with him yesterday and we talked about it. Talked to Donik about a collaboration for using Chinese rubber. But now for this match, he's using his Tenergy on both sides, back to the normal. Beautiful placement once again, down the line, the short side of the table. The ball at the top of the net comes back, Dima gets it back. And several little breaks here from Karlsson, but nonetheless, the finishing shot is as clean as a whistle. I don't know why people say that. I don't know if whistles are always clean. I'm sure they're dirty whistles. Little bit, speaking of dirty, it's a good shot. Open forehand side of the table. Dima finds it with the backhand, catches the top edge. Still a little bit of balance. A little bit of table tennis karma coming back. It's going to be a difficult shot. That deep on the table, low to the net with heavy topspin to flat hit back. This is a good call. Timeout, says Mattias Karlsson. Marcus Woodbury on his feet. Now thinking about the counterattack on the forehand side with the short pitch, we've seen Mattias Karlsson open with the spin. but rarely do we see him counterattack when it's coming in with pace. Once the heat turned up, he tries to go with power, flat hit it back, and it's been quite successful for him so far. So when I say tries, I mean that has been the plan. He's been succeeding in doing that. His spinny backhand cross court, the down the line backhand to the middle of the body. For me, it's backhand that's setting it up for Karlsson. And he's pumped. This is the job of the coach, not only tactical advice, but to make sure that your player feels confident, that they believe when they go out there, that he believes that he can do this, that he can win the match. It's the same on both sides. Roskov for Dima. Dima in a tricky position here, down 3 points. 2 points away from being knocked out of the tournament. Long push, a surprise long push. Dima was coming into the table and overshoots the backhand here for the opening loop attack. And it is 4 match points for Karlsson to take the biggest fish in the pond. Too good on that counterattack. Strong spinny opening shot from Karlsson, and Dima plays it down the line to the short side to save 1 match point. Again, every point is its own battle, its own match. And there it is, Mattias Karlsson, fist pumped. The crowd is thrilled right now. Sweden, look at this. Mattias Karlsson, 25 years old, has knocked out Europe's top player, Dimitrij Ovtcharov, 4-2, and the dream tournament continues. A solid handshake from Jorg Roskov and the Vikings, the bodyguards in the crowd. Christian Karlsson, no relation, but a brother, figuratively speaking, is here to support Mattias Karlsson. And the crowd will be back till the very last match today, the men's singles final. 1 spot is secured, and it will be a Swede, Mattias Karlsson, waiting for the winner of the next match between 2 Japanese players, Kenta Matsudaira and Yuya Oshima. Should be an exciting match. It's their first time playing on the World Tour. Here are a few words from Mattias Karlsson. Enjoy, and we'll be back for another match in a bit.
Det känns fantastiskt och jag vill tacka alla som har kommit för stödet. Det är fantastiskt spelare och ja, nu när det går om och tar finalen också.
Mattias Karlsson, jag tror jag talar för oss alla när jag säger att du har smashat dig rakt in i våra hjärtan. Det spelar fasen ingen roll hur det går i eftermiddag. Vi vet vad vi hoppas på, men du är Mattias med hela svenska pingisfolket. Lycka till!
Stort tack!
Stabil.
Och vilken match. Härligt. Snart dags för den andra semifinalen i herrarnas singel. Nu ska vi bestämma vem som Mattias får möta i finalen senare i eftermiddag.